Bock beers. These are Maibocks or Helles Bocks. We have 3 from Germany and 1 from Sweden. Always fun to compare, I think. I put up a poll on my community tab so you viewers could vote. Almost half of you preferred the Andechs, then a few less the Wieninger, and almost no one preferred the Zoller-Hof. Funny enough, last year it was the opposite for me. Zoller-Hof was my favorite and Andechs was my least favorite. So we'll see if that changes this year. Unfortunately, I didn't get the Einbecke. It was some sort of problem with the distribution this year because the name Bock beer is said to originate from Einbeck, but because of different accents, they started to call it Einbock, and Bock means goat. That's why you can see goats on many of the designs. But these 3 beers are the ones we get in Sweden every year, it seems. And apart from them, I don't think I've tried any other pale Bock beer from Germany. I'm guessing if you live in Germany, you have a lot of other favorite Maibock beers. So these are all stronger pale lagers, and I think the ABV is always around the mid 6 to the mid 7% ABV. It's a warm day in Sweden. I haven't eaten as usual in maybe 4 or 5 hours. I've been out for a run, showered of course, but I'm still, the temperature is still up in the body. So this will be very nice and a little bit dangerous. So let's start with your favorite, Kloster Andechs Bergbock Hell. Unfortunately, I only have the Andechs Hefeweizen glass, but I thought that could be interesting to try, see how it feels anyway. So Andechs or Kloster Andechs is situated just south of Munich, or maybe southwest. It really looks beautiful and seems to be a monastic brewery. Smells beautiful, or does it? If you ever try beers when you haven't eaten or been drinking anything for a long time, you are really sensitive, and also the smell it just gets to you, I'm feeling even more hungry. I have some salmon in the oven though. Let's actually compare the beers side by side, so we'll open everyone. Wieninger. Again, unfortunately, no Wieninger glass. So just the standard mug, or Stein, as they say in the US, although Stein means stone, and this is glass. Wieninger, or Privatbrauerei MC Wieninger, perfect pronunciation by the way, is situated southeast of Munich, almost on the border to Austria. Zoller-Hof. This glass I actually picked up today. I bought it on eBay and it was sent from Germany. Zoller-Hof is situated in the southwest of Germany, still inside of Bavaria. And then Gyllene Majbock, Golden Maibock from Remmarlöv, or Remmarlöv in the Scanian accent. You can see Maibock is spelled and pronounced almost the same in Swedish and German. In Sweden we have a J instead of an I. Remmarlöv Farm Brewery is situated in the south of Sweden and uses local raw materials, often from their own farm. Oh yes, the head is of course dissipating, so we need to fill it up just a little bit. A little bit of the Wieninger. It seems like the Andechs has the hardest time keeping the head actually, but let's smell them through. It's an intriguing aroma. It's both kind of sweet and herbal. I get a little bit of, wet dog when the fur is wet. Almost a little bit of gasoline. Super strange, but also fruity. Apricots, maybe apricot marmalade. Something almost a bit smoked. like, you know, the salami I used to talk about in the Hefeweizens. Kind of a sweet malt base, red crust almost going into cereal territory. No, it's drier, more rye bread. Well, maybe those really healthy cereals. But let's move on to Wieninger and smell that one. Very different aroma, more intense. It smells stronger. Yeah, I think this actually is the strongest beer on the table here, 7.1%. It's similar but sharper, maybe also more kind of syrup, but like in boozy candy. But the other aromas that I talked about in the Andechs are there as well. It's also herbal, have a little bit of that smoked character. I don't get as much of the bready notes, but also some kind of white rye bread. Zoller-Hof. I can't remember these sweet, intense notes from last year, but then again, at that time, I hadn't practiced as much. The Wieninger and the Zoller-Hof smells the most alike, but this one also has a little bit of that almond paste, so maybe sweeter that way, but not as intense fruity. And it keeps changing, or maybe I am. The Andechs has a very potent aroma suddenly. I get a lot of flowers, spring flowers. I so much want to dig in, but let's sniff the Remmarlöv first. It almost has some sort of whiskey notes. If I didn't know, I would think this had the highest ABV. Yeah, maybe that's why I noticed the spring flowers all of a sudden. The Remmarlöv isn't as floral. There's still that apricot, maybe bitter orange. Smells inviting too, but just a bit different from the other ones. All of these are from the south of Germany, and maybe this one is supposed to mimic another style of Maibocks. But now we need to dig in. Let's start with the Andechs again. Prost, cheers, skål. The first beer sip of the day always makes a special impact. I think why I didn't like it last year was because it tasted like soap. I don't really get that this year. Probably it's mostly me that is changing. Floral, herbal, nice aftertaste, pretty low bitterness, but you definitely notice the alcohol. Apricots, orange, lemon zest, white bread. The rye bread to the cereal notes from the aroma isn't there in the same way. Maybe a little bit syrupy. Kind of that syrup and bitter orange I have found in darker beers. Let's sip some water and compare it to Wieninger. Prost. More fruits and berries, less of the syrup, bit higher bitterness, I would say, which lingers really nice in the aftertaste together with herbal notes. And now I also get more of the malt base, more rye bread. There is that apricot again, some sort of marmalade, not just orange, but red and darker berries as well. Maybe also a tad more carbonation. Let us go back. The Andechs actually feels spritzier, or it kind of dries out the mouth the way champagne does. But the Wieninger had more bubbles. I don't know, I'm still very new to this whole mouth feel thing. Zoller-Hof, Prost. Of the three, the most subdued in the flavors. Maybe that's why I preferred it last year. It has the most amount of apricots. If these ones had one apricot or maybe half an apricot each, the Zoller-Hof has two. The malt base is a bit thicker, more compact, medium dark rye bread, bitter orange, more than orange marmalade, more of the dark berries, especially in the Wieninger, and the Zoller-Hof has more apricots and bitter orange. I would never think 1 or 2 years ago that I would sit here and talk about dark berries in pale beers. Let's move on to Remmarlöv. Skål! Yeah, the taste wasn't as different as the aroma compared to the German ones. Tasted much more round and kind of soft than the aroma implied. Here again we have the apricot, maybe sweeter orange marmalade, nice herbs, medium to low bitterness, and this malt base actually goes more into the digestive biscuit territory. It's a combination of rye bread and digestive biscuit. Yeah, it's really nice. I don't know, is there different styles of Maibocks, from different regions of Germany? In that case, these are definitely kind of Munich or Bavarian Maibocks, and the Swedish one is similar, but it could also mimic another region of Germany. So what I will do now is just on my own kind of speed taste these through a couple of times and see if I can come to some sort of summary. Alright, I've come to a conclusion. It's always hard when you drink beer this way. I have 4 beers here and I drink all the time and try to dissect the flavors. And after a while you can get a bit sick of it, So if I would to share a bottle with someone, I think I could go with either one of these. The Wieninger was surprisingly fruity and berry, which is nice, but the most sessionable is the Zoller-Hof, in my opinion. It has the least amount of the bitter orange that kind of gets a little bit on my nerves after a while. I think it also has the lowest ABV. I'm not sure. In German beer, they always hide away the ABV. In Sweden, it has always a big text. 6.5, so it's in the lower region of the style. So even though I like all of these beers, even Andechs, which I for some reason didn't like last year, and they all have their different selling points, Zoller-Hof is still the beer I prefer. Check out more German beers in this playlist and let me know in the comments your opinions on Maibocks. Thank you for watching and remember, drink responsibly!